President Trump's Food and Drug Administration chief says the administration has removed the possibility of COVID-19 vaccine mandates for young, healthy people. Dr. Marty McCary spoke with Fox News senior medical analyst Dr. Mark Siegel earlier today about the policy changes.
The FDA did two things. One, we approved COVID vaccines with for the newest strain, and they're for high-risk individuals. The second thing we did is remove the emergency use authorization for COVID vaccines, which will eliminate the possibility of doing mandates in young, healthy subjects. Mandates are no longer legally possible. But anyone who wants to get a vaccine can get a vaccine. Remember, 20% of medications in the United States are given off-label. The vaccines will still be available.
Dr. McCary, I noticed the role of the physician seems to be increasing here. As a practicing physician, I'm sensitive to that. In other words, doctors are more involved in deciding who gets these vaccines. Talk to me about it.
Well, look, that's exactly what we want. We want to put the power back with doctors and their patients. We want these decisions to be a discussion. The government is not your doctor.
See more of that interview on foxnews.com.
President Donald Trump is now demanding a definitive answer on the controversy surrounding COVID-19 vaccines. It is very important that the drug companies justify the success of their various COVID drugs. Many people think they are a miracle that saved millions of lives. Others disagree. With CDC being ripped apart over this question, I want the answer, and I want it now, he declared in a Monday Truth Social post. I have been shown information from Pfizer and others that is extraordinary, but they never seem to show those results to the public. Why not? They go off to the next hunt and let everyone rip themselves apart, including Bobby Kennedy Jr. and CDC, trying to figure out the success or failure of the drug company's COVID work. They show me great numbers and results, but they don't seem to be showing them to many others. I want them to show them now to CDC and the public and clear up this mess one way or the other, he continued. After COVID-19 pandemic erupted during Trump's first term in office, he presided over Operation Warp Speed, an effort to help accelerate the development and deployment of COVID-19 vaccines. I hope Operation Warp Speed was as brilliant as many say it was. If not, we all want to know about it and why, he wrote in the Post on Monday. Thank you for your attention to this very important matter.
Now I'm delighted to bring in Selena Zito, the Washington Examiner national political reporter, to join us in our coverage as we continue. When we talk about an emergency, Governor Pritzker said something kind of interesting. He said, "Does this look like an emergency? Ask the families buying ice cream on the Riverwalk if they want their neighborhoods turned into a war zone by a wannabe dictator." So significant pushback there on the ground in Illinois. Meanwhile, we've seen two very violent weekends there on the streets of Chicago. Dozens of people shot, many killed as well. Bullets are quite literally flying. Your thoughts on the back and forth and the communication that we're seeing out of Illinois and on the ground in Chicago from the Democratic side?
So if you've ever been to Chicago, there's basically two sides of the city. There is the part where the tourists go, where you can walk around, where it's very, very safe. There's also the other parts, and a lot of that is in predominantly minority neighborhoods, where crime is a really big problem. And you can talk to any parent who is afraid to let their kid walk from their house to their friend's house, to the local grocery store, to go to soccer practice, whatever. They're afraid for their children. For Pritzker to make that sort of blanket statement, look at this pretty river walk, there's no problem here, is almost insulting. Well, I'm not going to even say almost, is very insulting for the parents that worry about their children every day and every night as they just go about doing very common routines.
Yeah. In David Spunt's report there was a small clip of Pritzker talking about how he would be willing to work with the federal government. And that often seems to be the challenge that's signaled, is that Democratic cities want federal help, they want money, but they don't necessarily want to work with the president in the way that he is reaching out right now. And he's talked about how he wants to completely eliminate violent crime. And we've seen the success that he's had in D.C. and the mayor there changing her tune to a certain extent. Where do you see things going in the coming weeks?
Well, that's going to be the interesting part. Muriel Bowser she wants her city to be safe. Does she want to work with President Trump? Probably not from the get-go. However, it has proven to be an effective measure and deterrent against the imagery of constant crime. You know, DC is the center of our government. It can be a very beautiful city. You want people to come to visit it, to go to the museums, to the institutions, to enjoy all the beautiful parks there. But the idea of going there as a family from outside of DC has been met with hesitancy. So Bowser has approached this in the appropriate way. But Pritzker, who is widely believed to want to run for president, is not likely to say, I'll work with Trump, but he will say, I'll work with the feds to get what I want out of them, right? Like the ATF.
You mentioned the two sides of Chicago. We had a very interesting interview this morning on Fox and Friends from Pastor Corey Brooks. Just take a listen.
There are individuals who are dying every single day. As you can see over the weekend, the rash of murders, the shootings, they're still going on. You know, Governor Pritzker said the National Guard should never come in unless there is an emergency. This is an emergency. Anytime we're continuing to lose lives on the south sides and west sides of Chicago, to those of us who live in the community, we deem that as an emergency.
That's how people are feeling about it. And these are the people that are reaching out and they want to see the help. And then there are occasionally when the Democrats point to crime statistics, but you can't feel the statistics. This is someone on the ground who's talking about what it feels to actually be there. Your thoughts?
Right. I mean, you have to go where people are. You can't just go into a place where it's scenic and beautiful and say, look how great my city is. When you can go all over Cook County and find places where there are trouble spots, let alone just in the city of Chicago. And these families are feeling real pain. They've lost loved ones and their children are unable to live the same sort of free life in terms of walking down the street and not being worried about being hit by a stray bullet.
Selena Zito, thank you very much. We wish you a lovely end to your Labor Day weekend. Greatly appreciate your thoughts today.
Thanks for having me.
In a post on X, Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. thanked the president for his commitment to gold standard science. Senator Bernie Sanders responded to Trump's comments by suggesting that Operation Warp Speed was a success. Mr. Trump, you were right about the success of Operation Warp Speed and the COVID vaccine when you said that it saved tens of millions of lives. Vaccines have also helped eliminate polio, measles, and smallpox. Don't backtrack. Stick with the scientists, not conspiracy theorists, Sanders wrote on X.